Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Culz Sports Chat. I almost forgot what we were on because we did Culz Talks Pop Culture last night. So 2 live shows in a row. And for anyone that's reached out because of our video last week on Joe Antrim, I promise I'll get back to you. There's just a lot of messages, so it's taking some time. It looks like we got Brennan and Scott. How you guys doing today?
Really good, really good.
Well, Scott, how was your tournament in Dallas? How'd it go?
Well, it was a struggle for my Phoenix Coyotes sled team. Sent out 2 teams, an A team and a B team, and because of a couple of last minute problems with work schedules and other things like that, a couple of the players that were on the A team had to drop out at the last moment, meaning that a couple players from the B team needed to step up, and which we did. But of course, then that made the B team a little bit weak. So between the combination of just having just things not worked out well, we hadn't practiced very much together. It worked out to being a struggle for both the A team and the B team. So, but we went through the preliminaries, got through there, just didn't make qualify for the playoffs, and so our weekend was done. So we played 3 games on on Friday and Saturday. Last one was Saturday morning, and then that was it. So then we could start heading home. Take the old 20-hour drive to between northern Arizona and Dallas. But otherwise, we made the trip just fine. Got a little bit of sled hockey swag, and picked up a game puck for my souvenir collection. So and we had a great time. That was the most important thing. So good weekend. It was a good weekend. A long weekend, but it was a good one.
Hey, that's good to hear. Try any good restaurants or anything while you were out there?
Oh yeah. We had a really good bar and grill there that had excellent ribs and barbecue items there, and that was a really good one. I guess actually coming, I'm sitting here talking about hockey, but one of the things is on the way to the rink, we had to pass by AT&T Stadium. So there's our kind of my football link into this past weekend. I didn't go to didn't go to a Cowboys game, but I drove past the Cowboys home. So also I had time that I could catch the uh, Chicago Blackhawks against the Dallas Stars on Thursday night. That was fun to be at a pro hockey game. Uh, the Dallas pretty much wiped out the Blackhawks, but but it was fun. And it's been a number of years, a long, long time since I've been to a pro hockey game in person. So that was fun. That was good to go.
It looks like Shane is saying South Park cows are going for last place. Shane, you have a chance. You can still make the playoffs. We believe in you. Yeah, we'll get to fantasy here in a bit. Yeah, I know when we were in Dallas, me and Brendan, we stopped at this one restaurant. I ordered nachos, and what they made the nachos of, I was not expecting. It was tater tots, so that was interesting. But they did have a really good nitro frozen margarita. Smoothest, coldest margarita I think I've ever had, which was nice because I think it was 106 that day. So.
Yeah, at least the weather was great. The temperature was great. It was actually a little windy, or I'm sorry, rainy on Friday, so we had to deal with that. But otherwise, yeah, it was a great time. Good time in Dallas.
Brendan, how was your weekend? Do anything exciting?
No.
Any updates on the Kansas Kite Monster? Me and David were wondering yesterday.
I haven't seen him for a while.
All right, so we're gonna have to send some cryptid hunters out for our Kansas Kite Monster. Yeah. So this weekend was exciting on my end. I saw Venom, not the exciting part, but we did release our Joe Antrim research. Was exciting to finally share it. I've known it for quite a bit of time, but with anything you gotta double check and recheck and triple check. Maybe send it to someone else, and then once they send it back, then you also recheck again. So let's dive into fantasy, Brendan. We did kind of have one upset this weekend, right? We saw Bobby, who's not here to gloat. He beat
Oh,
Grayson by like 4 points.
well, there you go.
He's still alive in the playoff race. So good for Bobby. I beat Mark, but Mark put up a fight. Really, honestly, my team was not so hot this week. So they came out in the end, but I was worried. Dark Horse lost to Blazing Red, so there's another one. Dark Horse, I think. Again, I still think you.
He's on a 5-game losing streak, so I don't know what's going on with him. He
Ever,
started 5-0, and now he's 5-5.
ever since he played you guys, he's just. I think you guys broke him.
Play him in 2 weeks again, so we'll see.
And then let's see, Montana Outlaws. You guys beat Iowa Eagles pretty handily. Did this feel like an early rivalry game with the new ownership in the house?
Not yet.
Not yet. Next year we'll get ready.
Yeah,
See, then she'll have to come on the podcast and help talk smack against the Outlaws.
exactly.
We talked Yorkville 49, got that upset win, so good for Bobby. Thundercats pulled out one over BP Bears. Cryptid Critters beat Shane. Sorry, Shane, if you're still on here. But it was a good game. And then Birmingham Bats eked it out, Scott. You were close.
Yeah. Boy, and honestly, I didn't. I was since I was driving back and forth from Dallas, I didn't get to see any football this weekend. Uh, but I heard a couple things and how Saquon only covered 8.8 points for me. That was a big hurt.
In his
Uh,
defense, in Saquon's defense, they did bench the starters with like 2 minutes left in the third. So
yeah.
Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, they were all benched in the late in the third, early in the fourth.
Well,
Also,
there's
one got
still
a wrist injury or something,
yeah.
so they were monitoring that.
No, there's still that first two game. He should have gotten more than 8.8 at the beginning of the game. I won't let him off for that one. And let's see, but let's see. Looking back at my scores, I had to start Brett Maine as at quarterback since both Lawrence and Robinson have been out. And he did okay. He gave me 16 points. But the best show is I got 16 points from the Patriot defense. Now that's a good show. Held the Bears to only 3 points. So kind of hard to say it, but that's the strength of my team this week was the Patriots defense.
Yeah, I was kind of distracted, I guess, Wednesday night, and so for some reason I put Keenan Allen in instead of Jamar Chase, and was kind of bummed because I think Jamar Chase got like 65 points this week. So I was like, dang it. But yeah, it was a weird. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that when we get to our like kind of weekly recap, just looked bad. I think Chicago was going to probably burn down the stadium had they not fired one of the two, Shane Waldron or Eberflus, and they shouldn't have kept Eberflus. Like that was just, I don't get that. To bring in a rookie quarterback and keep a coach that got by on the skin of his teeth. seemed like an odd decision. And I said it earlier to Brendan. I think we'll see Eberflus go, especially these next 3 games aren't going to be easy by any stretch, and especially if the Patriots are sacking him 9 times.
No.
I think Ryan Poles is going to make a move to try to save his own skin and get rid of Eberflus at some point. Because I don't know. I think if it goes south, Poles can be out as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Let's look at the standings. It looks like Brendan, you've won your division, secured that one. You're 9-1 on a 5-game win streak. The loss with Grayson to Bob actually dropped into 6-4, and with 3 games left, that means you have won your division. So good job there. Blazing Red moves up a tad, 2-8. In my division, at one point looked super good. We were all at like 5-2 or something like that. And since then, Sun Hitters and Dark Horse have lost all the games, so they're both 5-5, sitting at second and third. I'm at 8-2. Still got to win a couple more before I can secure that one. Iowa Eagles coming in last, so at 2-8. Graveyard Dogs. Even though Matt is 7-3, the Thundercats, Cryptid Critters, and David 1 game behind at 6-4. So that will be an interesting matchup there. Bobby's at 3-7 there. And then the final one, Birmingham Bats 9-1 clinch their division as well, with BP Bears, Desert Dogs 2-3 at 3-7, and then Shane at 2-8. So right now, Scott, you are in the playoffs. It looks like just Bobby, Shane, Eagles, and Blazing Red outside. But what are our matchups this week? It looks like Bobby plays me, Thundercats, Blazing Red, Montana Outlaws, Cryptid Critters. Uh-oh. Speak of the Cryptid Critters and he will appear. Oh, you're on. You're muted.
Yep.
There we go.
Also, Brendan said no KKM sightings recently. I think we got to put up missing posters.
Well, speaking of missing, what about Dallas's chances of even making the playoffs this year?
Do you like that your hockey team got more points than your football team?
Doesn't even surprise me.
David, we were just talking. You are 1 game behind first place, and you're playing Brendan. How are you feeling this week going into fantasy football?
Honestly, I think I'm going to take it only because I think they have what's his name? I don't think he's going to get 30-something points. Jalen.
What about Jaden?
Oh, let me see.
Oh, would you?
I was looking at it earlier. I know it's super close. Oh, did you? Yeah. I don't think Hurts is going to get that much. I think Commanders' defense is going to get it done because they're coming back from that embarrassing loss.
Yeah, right now that's a close one, 113 to 119. Let's see, Blazing Red down 121, 111. Bobby's like down by like 50 to me, so that's not even close.
Ouch.
Yeah. Blueberry Bulldogs might go on a little losing streak. He's down by 30, Grayson, to my dad. Oh, California Sun Hitters, Desert Dogs, Scott. You are 4-point difference right now, closest one so far. How are you feeling about your matchup?
Oh, I think we can make up those 4 points without problem. Yeah, we're going to be good. We're kind of in 10th place. We're kind of right there on the bubble. We're not going to be busting the bubbles this weekend. We got to pull up our pants and go ahead and beat them.
Why were your pants down to begin with?
Well, it's Arizona. It's always warm.
It was all
No, I think your game is definitely like it's a coin flip. It could go either way. It's definitely within that kind of margin of error. There we
go. Dark Horse is looking to rebound 100 to 61 right now. Shane, are you on? I know Shane was watching because he posted Cal's for last place, and we know what happens when you post that in our chat. You actually go undefeated. But he's actually projected to beat Iowa Eagles. So
Cows made a
nice.
move earlier today, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. They added a running back.
The Green Bay running back, right?
Yeah, that I dropped earlier this year.
I know I had to pick up Tanner Hudson. I didn't have a tight end for this weekend.
I was really hoping you weren't going to catch that, and I could just have a free spot.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, not only that, not only do I think your quarterback's going to underperform, I think Bijan's going to have a bigger day than they've given him. They only projected him 16 points. I think he breaks 20 easy.
Who are they playing?
I don't know.
Denver.
Oh, Denver. It's going to be a tough day in Denver. I don't know. Denver might have a little bit of a emotional letdown, I think, after the Chiefs game. You know, they played them so hard and then they lost.
Dude,
at the very
I'm
last moment.
so sick of the Chiefs. I'm done with it.
We got to call in the KKM and be like, yo.
You know, David, maybe you should worry about your own team first before you're tired of other teams.
I'm not sure. I don't even think we have a team this year.
Yeah, I thought we were bullying some peewee team. It was really sad.
Pretty sure you played a Dallas high school team.
Trinity asked if there was a mercy rule.
There was when they took Hurts out. That was the mercy rule. They were like, all right. We got any fourth stringers? Let's just throw them out there.
Shane posted, if I could land 10th place and barely making the playoffs, I'll be happy. Shane, we believe in you. If you beat Iowa Eagles, you're one step closer. So, yeah, so fantasy will be good. Who wants to start off? Any big moves? I mean, I can say one big move. Chicago's not going to burn the stadium down because at least they got rid of Shane Waldron. I mean, they should have got rid of both.
I think we knew it was going to happen.
It had to.
After this last game, the writing has been on the wall for a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, and how they thought he was a good pick after he just like destroyed Seattle's offense as well just boggles my mind. And look at Eberflus's offensive coordinators. The other one he let go went to Oakland or Las Vegas and has already gotten fired as well. So maybe he's just not very good at picking coaches. So maybe we should be having him as a coach.
Yeah, right.
Let's
bring back Matt Nagy.
Let's not. I mean, at this point, just like, I don't know, go find a Bears fan and like, I don't know, somewhere in the loop. Just go to Miracle. Just go up the Sears Tower, go to the observation deck, and like hand out like tokens.
To be fair, by the time the third quarter rolled around in that Dallas Eagles game, I half expected McCarthy just to start walking through the crowd and being like, "Hey, anybody ever played quarterback? Anybody kind of know how to throw a ball? We'll give you a shot."
I mean, you know what I thought was going to happen to McCarthy when he went back in the locker room. I said, because like. Jerry Jones was just gone for the longest time. I was like, I think he's waiting to just jump McCarthy when he goes back.
He's going to be the first head coach to be fired at halftime.
And I was a little worried about the fact that Dak is like gone. That they were going to say, well, we'll give McCarthy another chance because he didn't have his quarterback. But luckily they were doing shitty enough with Dak that McCarthy's gone after this season. I think Jerry will stick to it and let him ride out the rest of this year's contract. But he's day one. He's out. Like,
yeah,
they're getting rid of him. And the only reason he's sticking around this season is because if he left, the defensive coordinator would probably get the job and he'd do even worse. So,
plus they're like, hey,
Dan Quinn left your guys' team, but I didn't want him to go to a division team.
I know, and they're actually doing really well. The Commanders have had a good start to the season. For basically a new build. They're doing really well. I think they're going to be a threat for a few years. Yeah, that's good though. That's what keeps our division interesting. Flip flop back and forth. If we were all in different divisions, we'd always be at the top.
Exactly.
Brendan, do you guys play them this week or is that next week? Because I know it's coming.
In fantasy, we're playing this week.
No, he's talking about Eagles Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh, that's this week. That's Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday. All right, I can't wait to pick that. It's a tough one because I think Eagles have looked a lot better, but Commanders are looking good too. Speaking of Thursday, last Thursday's game might have been the best game all week. It was kind of a poor NFL schedule, I believe.
Oh, the Ravens game.
Ravens Bengals, and it should
It
have
was
gone to
good. It was
OT.
good.
Why they didn't kick that field goal? I mean, I get it. Lamar and the Ravens were just like killing it, but it was a bad play call. Just kick the field goal.
I agree. Don't go for the win. Take the tie. Go into OT.
Yeah.
You can't stop them, so they're just going to run down the ball. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you get the
Totally
ball
off.
first, you can win, you know?
Yeah.
It's better to take that risk, I think. Or throw to Jamar Chase because they couldn't cover him worth a damn.
Yeah.
Dude,
Had
Chase
I
had a
known-
great night. He had such a good night.
Yeah, had I known that, I would have played him. But, thought
He
Baltimore
wasn't
was gonna-
expected to have nearly that much. Even all the betting sites and stuff, everybody was taking the under, but he blew it
He did
away.
that week 4 when they played. I would have put Chase in just because it's Jamar Chase. Like
Why not? Yeah.
it's Justin Jefferson. He doesn't leave my lineup unless it's bye week. There's just some players you don't take out, even if it's a bad matchup.
I agree.
Like when I had Justin Fields, I just played him all the time. I said, keep him in there, even if I have Lamar.
Because the one time you take him out, it's going to be the week that it's like explosive, you know?
Right. Well, that's like Tyreek. I don't take Tyreek out. He's going to be in there. Because one week he almost had 70 points. So I was like, yeah, just keep
Yeah,
him.
there's some players that it's worth the risk, you know?
Yeah.
They're too good not to most likely give you a great game. And they may have 1 or 2 weeks they let you down, but they'll make up for it by doing like double the expected the next week.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of teams doing more than we thought, I think I picked the Panthers. But the Panthers beat the New York Giants in another country. So no one wins in the United States there, but
German Bowl.
yeah, the German Bowl. Hey, at least it was a more competitive game. It wasn't like just a crap game. Because like I feel bad sometimes these international games just get really terrible. Like the London games for a while were just like really hard to stomach.
Yeah, because they kept sending the Jags.
Yeah, and they still do. I mean, the London Jags.
Yeah, that's why they're terrible games.
Speaking of terrible games, 19-3, New England just beat Chicago. At that point, they shouldn't have let Eberflus even coach. After he got like 5-6 sacks, just get him off the field. He's terrible. This was my big thing with the rookie quarterbacks. I said, if you're going to take a rookie quarterback, get a new coach.
Especially when it's New England. Like, come on.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. I mean, I get it.
They're like nothing right now.
No, and I get your like offensive line is trash, but you can't make any plays to get your receivers open. You can't make any like small dump offs for the running back or run the ball. Like, I don't know. And the team has clearly given up on Eberflus, even in the post conferences and stuff. They're just like questioning him. At that point, just get rid of him. It's not working, Let's see, what was the next game? Buffalo beat Indy, Scott. Kind of what we expected.
Yeah, yep. Pretty much dominant. I was able to listen to that game on my drive home. Some of that, and really was kind of happy that I hadn't played Alec Pierce until he caught a long touchdown with 2 seconds to play, and then it's like, well, okay, there's 27 points that I could have used against your dad again. It only lost me, only lost 7. I could have used that if I had stuck out for 99.7% of the game, but no, didn't do that. So, oh well. But yeah,
would it have been enough to give you the win?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have. Yeah, if I had
it would have pushed you over.
Yeah, it would have pushed me up. But that's okay. That happens. As far as the Colts go, again, it's kind of seems like just a ship without a rudder. Not really sure where they are, a rudder or a sail. I mean, they're just kind of just kind of bobbing up and down there in the middle of the ocean, doing absolutely nothing. So again, this will be another one of the teams that'll be interesting to see how things change come the end of the season.
I think they've got potential though. They've got some good talent. They just need somebody to give them a direction, like you said. Somebody's got to get in there and take control. I mean, it was a closer game than I thought it was going to be.
It was, but still, Buffalo still kind of handled most everything, at least from what I could hear over the radio.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, and speaking of close games, Brendan, you kind of live in the middle of these two teams, but Denver played Kansas City really close, like they usually do. Weren't able to get the win due to a blocked field goal, and then the Denver fans immediately blamed the referees. Any thoughts on that?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, didn't the ref run out right as he was going to kick it and slap the kicker? Right? Wasn't that what happened?
Yeah, that's what I saw. Actually, they paid off the KKM to fly in and like tip the ball.
Just go.
Go to Missouri.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit about Missouri.
He doesn't care about Missouri.
Yeah, so the Chiefs stay undefeated. Broncos played well. Knicks looked pretty good. I think though they're kind of in for a letdown. I don't know who they play. Oh, they play Atlanta. I think they might be in it for an emotional letdown just because that was a hard-fought division game, and it was a huge letdown to lose it that way. Speaking of one letdown, going to the other one, New Orleans beat Atlanta. Not something I think any of us saw, but Atlanta has been this way all year.
I thought
They've looked really. Did I?
I thought you called it because it's a trap game because of the firing of Dennis Allen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you always get a.
I mean, hey, Bijan still had a beast of a day for me, so I don't care.
David was like, I was fine with it.
Yeah, dude got like 30 points.
Yeah, no. And I guess this is how Atlanta is. Anytime they start getting hot, they lose the game that they shouldn't lose.
It's the Matt Ryan curse. It continues on even though he's gone.
Right. Yeah, it's the I don't even know what to call it at this point because they were kind of that way too. They do really good with Michael Vick. They get to the NFC Championship game and just not show up. Like they should have beat the Eagles that year, but just didn't show up. So it's kind of just an Atlanta thing, I suppose. San Francisco 23, Tampa Bay 20. Christian McCaffrey looked pretty good. Scott, do you have any reservations about the trade so far?
No. Actually, it's the sending in Terry McLaurin, adding in Terry McLaurin into that deal. That's what's biting me right now. But otherwise, no. I'm not so sure. We'll have to still wait and see if CMC can be able to come back his 2 Achilles tendon injuries, and hopefully he does. But I could easily see where many people, including me, have that question about whether he can really come back to form after both at the same time.
Right, especially mid-season. It's got to be hard. It's not like he had the whole off-season to recover or anything like that. Here we go. Russ and the Steelers beating the Washington Commanders 28-27. I believe Russ led
it was such a close
comeback.
game.
Yeah, it was close the whole game. It was, I said the other one was the game of the week. This one might have been the game of the week too.
I'm not a big fan of either teams. Of course, coming from Dallas, we've got our history with both of those teams. But honestly, that's kind of what football is about to me. These games where it's two decent teams going against each other, and it really comes down to who makes the less mistakes, who has the ball at the end of the game. It was good.
Yeah, and Russ is looking good.
Yeah.
So I at this point, I don't think we'll see Justin Fields again this year if this keeps up this way.
No, and you know what? Good for Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people in his position would have folded under everything that happened, but I think he's making a good name for himself.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of rehabbing his name after the 2 Denver years.
Yeah, he might have found his spot. The place that he'll be able to play till he retires.
Yeah, and it was kind of the spot all off season. People were like, "Get Russ to Pittsburgh," and you're like, "I don't know why, but it feels right." And we're seeing it. It looks good.
It's working out. I mean, I was
Yeah.
never a huge fan of Big Ben, so I'm totally fine with Russ taking the mantle.
Hey, another fan or another player that's not a fan of a certain quarterback was Mike Williams. He's not a fan of Aaron Rodgers, and he let everyone know that with his first catch being a touchdown and then immediately posting about it on Instagram. So a little shade there, but good for Mike Williams, showing he's not washed like some other people
May have implied.
said. Yeah. Well, here's one. I didn't think this would be an ugly game, but it was ugly. Minnesota 12, Jacksonville 7. And Jacksonville could have won that one, but Mac Jones threw the pick in the end zone.
I mean, if the Commanders-Steelers game was an example of good football, this is an example of just really boring, bad football. It wasn't entertaining. It was just painful.
Well, and speaking of Jacksonville, Scott, when did Trevor Lawrence get hurt? Because all of a sudden Mac Jones was playing, and I had no idea what was going on.
No, actually, about 2-3 weeks ago, he had hurt his shoulder. Actually, it's more of his non-throwing shoulder, from what I've heard. And so he was questionable last week, and then I think they pretty much decided that they were going to go just to not play him come this week. So whether having a full week off makes a difference, we'll have to see. Kind of hope so, but I'd like to go ahead and play Trevor instead of Brett Maine right now. But I'll stick with Maine right now.
Yeah, I think they need him back desperately. So I think they're going to do whatever they can to get him back out there.
Yeah.
I think this game kind of shut up all the people that said, Trevor Lawrence was a problem, because they struggled. Like, if Trevor Lawrence played that game, they would have won. Like, easy. But at least one good thing out of that, I enjoyed their uniform. I thought the white helmet looked good. I'm not always a big fan of the white helmets with certain teams, but something with this one I thought worked. Especially
that's what the Houston Texans need, is a little bit of white.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. That was a rough watch. LA Chargers looking pretty good, beating the Titans by 10, 27-17. Not too surprising there. Tennessee is on their way to a high draft pick. We'll see if any of the quarterbacks coming out of college will want to play for them, though. So I know Sanders probably.
I mean, they got a real nice stadium coming up, though. They're building that new Titans one soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be gorgeous.
I like it, too, because it's not the normal, round stadium. It's square and boxy, which just seems so unique for a football. And then it has, the building look on it. It looks really cool.
Plus, Nashville is an amazing city. There's definitely worse places you could have to move to play football.
Like Memphis.
You said it, not me.
For Nashville, because I keep hearing how great Nashville is. So it's become one of the places that I've wanted to visit.
Nashville's awesome. I was just there a couple weeks ago for the UT game, and it's beautiful.
Just if you drive through Memphis, Brendan, be very, very diligent of where you're walking around by yourself. There's certain places you don't want to walk around by yourself in Memphis. So.
I mean, that's almost any city, though. As long as you're not, mind your own business, be aware of your surroundings, you'll be fine.
Hey, Memphis was ranked higher in the top 20 most dangerous cities in the world than Albuquerque and Tijuana.
I've never seen a dangerous thing in Albuquerque, so I'm not too worried about that.
Oh, David, I can show you. We went to probably the worst hotel you could go to, and I thought it would be nice. It was right by the airport.
Oh, so that's your mistake. You can't do airport hotels.
It was a little bit away, but it was interesting. We saw some stuff, and I was like, "Yep, no, not doing this again." We already kind of talked about it. Eagles 34, Dallas 6. You guys feel pretty good with what you've already said about this game?
I would just add, kind of like what you mentioned earlier about Trevor Lawrence not being the problem. I think this very much proved that Dak isn't the issue, because they did not come together without him there. There were, as always, that crowd of people that's like, oh, let Rush in, let Lance play. And they just proved that even if you, I mean, even as a Cowboy fan, Dak is overrated. I definitely don't think he should have gotten paid like he did, but he's got talent, but he needs the team around him. And that's where the big problem is. But they could not get it done on any level in that game. The only good thing we had going for us, of course, was our kicker, as always. I did like defense. I think they did a much better job than I expected, but they just had to be out there so much it wore them down. I mean, if your offense isn't going to do anything in every 3 or 4 plays, you're having to go back out. Yeah, you're going to get tired. You're going to start, having some cracks. I did like that they did towards the end let Lance in. Trey Lance come in to do a play, and I think his plays were better than Cooper. I mean, if it was up to me, I would start Lance over Rush this week just to see what we got. Try it out. I mean, now that we know officially Dak's out for the season, see what pieces you have to figure out what you're going to trade away next year. And I thought it was really funny how you were mentioning about talking about the coach and taking shots at him. I don't know if you watched this. Micah Parsons was interviewed after the game.
Mm-mm.
And basically they were asking him about like the coach and everything and next year. And he's like, well, I basically he said, the coach has got him in his own situation. Like that he's where he is because of him. But who he feels bad for is the veteran guys on the team that this is probably their last year, that they're not going to get that shot. Like he's already given up the season basically. But indirectly, he was like, I don't give a fuck about Mike McCarthy. We know his ass is gone. But it makes me feel bad for the guys that are trying that aren't going to get anywhere now because of that coach.
Well, hey, you guys brought in another quarterback today. I saw Will Greer.
Bringing him back. Yeah, he was already
back.
here. Mr. Mustache Man. Yeah.
So, I mean, who do you think starts this week?
They've already announced Rush is going to start.
Okay.
I think it's a mistake, but they're trying to stick with that. So we'll see how he does. If it's as bad as this last week, I think Lance will probably get in there by halftime, and they'll give him a shot because he did. I mean, even in our fantasy group, like I told you, he had more points than Rush, even though Rush played like 3 times as much as him. Granted, I think Trey ended up with like 2 or 3 points. So the fact that he was still above Rush tells you how terrible that game was.
Brennan, on the flip side, anything about the Eagles you took away from that game?
We're looking more like a coherent group. I definitely think we looked better than, the first few weeks. Even with the possible injuries and the maintenance that they were doing all week, and they'll probably do, I think today and tomorrow for Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. They're showing that they're not slowing down, and I think they've become, like I said, a more coherent group. So,
and their coach is not yelling at fans anymore, so that's always a good sign.
I kind of hope. I haven't seen anything, but I kind of hope he took a step back and let the coordinators pretty much do everything. Because they're 2 good coordinators. So,
I mean,
Might as
the
well
Eagles
let 'em do their
the
job.
Eagles have good coordinators, and they've got so much talent. That's another team that if they just had somebody correctly steering them, they'd be a much bigger threat than they are right now. Like, they're already a pretty good team, and I hate saying it, but they'd become a great team if they had the right leadership in place, I think.
Yeah, I think early on we were kind of thinking Sirianni might be on his way out, but at this point they've won too many. Now, if they fell in the playoffs big, maybe they
Or
get-
if they don't make the playoffs,
yeah.
yeah.
If they did what they did last year, where they looked really good and then they just lost like 4 or 5 in a row and got blown out in the first game.
If I was an Eagles fan, what I'd be hoping for is that their falling apart era happened at the beginning of this season, where they were just kind of poking along. If they can get it together now for the rest of the run, they're going to be a threat. I mean, they could go for the division title, and they could go all the way. I don't think it's going to happen, but they do have that talent potential at least.
I agree. Scott, the Cardinals just mutilated the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is being labeled as washed. How do you feel about all this going on?
Yeah, this was the other game that I listened to on the way driving back, kind of driving over through northern New Mexico, listening to the Cardinals and the Packers. And it really seemed like the Cardinals defense really got to got into Rodgers' head really early, and he just couldn't break out of it. Defense just really teed off. Thankfully, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison seem like they're getting on track to kind of carry over the offense. James Conner is still awesome. So maybe the Cardinals are going to start turning it around, especially, like I said, especially if Murray and Harrison really start teaming up together. Maybe the Cardinals will have a really strong end to the season.
Yeah, I think they might end up winning the NFC West. Not a team I would have thought so at the beginning of the year. I thought they might have been 2 or 3, but they're looking better and better each week.
Yeah.
And the Jets are just, I mean, I don't know what you do there. Right? Rodgers is done in New York. Is he done with football this year? I don't think he'd want to go out this way. But yeah, Jets are a fire. I don't think anyone's going to want to go there as a coach. It's going to be a kind of Carolina situation, I believe, where you get a coach that he's a really good candidate, but they don't have the pieces. The ownership's bad. It's just, I think it's a dire situation for New York fans. Speaking of dire and situations, bad football, Sunday night was bad football. Bad football. The Texans' uniforms were atrocious. They should have had white in the horn or something. The uniform itself should have been more red. I should say less red. Brennan said it looked like a color rush jersey. And Texans are garbage as a team. To be up by 3 touchdowns and picked off the other quarterback 5 times.
Yeah, how many turnovers were total in the game? Was it like 10 almost?
Yeah, 8,
Yeah.
9. Well, I think
like
there's
8
8 or 9 interceptions and then a couple fumbles.
It was insane. It's like neither team wanted to keep the ball.
Yeah, there was the third quarter is when I think all of us just were starting to lose our mind because it got so bad that we were like, just run it. Neither quarterback can pass it at this point. Just run it and you'll win.
The problem with the running it was the Texans offensive line. I don't know if they changed coaches or they're just so injured, but the Texans offensive line looks like shit since the Bears game. And so they could barely run it. When you can't run it, you have to go to your pass, but you can't pass because you're throwing interceptions, and it was not pretty for Houston.
Yeah, CJ Stroud hit his sophomore slump. I think we can say pretty substantially. For a while there, it looked like they were going to come out really hot and just beat up the Lions. It was going to be that one of those games where the Lions, they get beat down, but it's late enough in the season, it'll help propel them in the playoffs or whatever. But this turned into very much the Bears-Cardinals game from like 2006, where the Cardinals should have won because Grossman was just targeting the Cardinals' defensive backs. But the defense pulled it through, and I kind of felt it this way. The Lions' running backs looked really good. Goff had a terrible game. But the receivers started to look better, especially what's his name, Williamson. I should know. I have him in my franchise on Madden. But there's a couple where he would bobble it, but he never lost concentration. He never turned to run. He kept focus on the ball, caught it. One time he got pretty good hit on him too, but I don't know. That was a terrible, terrible game. David, what were your thoughts with that one?
I mean, you almost just had to laugh at how comical it got with the turnovers and everything. It was a hilarious game. Much closer than I thought. I really thought the Lions were just going to dominate it.
Mm-hmm.
But Houston came out swinging, and they were doing great. And then it's like after halftime, they were like, oh, there's another half we have to play? Whoa, we weren't expecting that. we met our contract for this one. We're done. Because almost all those points went unanswered. It was ridiculous. It was by far Houston's game to win or give away, and they gave it away in the dumbest fashion possible.
Yeah, you shouldn't be losing the game when you're picking off the other quarterback 5 times.
If you get gifted the ball 5 times and you don't win, you really need to do some self-evaluating there. There's some soul searching that needs to be done in Houston. However, that being said, I fully expect them to very much pound us into the ground when the Cowboys play them this week. So,
Scott, any thoughts with this Sunday night game?
No. You know what? As you say, it would seem like it was just more of a comedy of errors here and there. So, I don't really have sorry, I don't have a really thought about it, obviously.
And Brendan, any thoughts on the Texans uniforms?
It looked like they were trying to make like a cheap Lucifer knockoff with the horns on the head and all red, and it was really bad.
Yeah, please.
I
please
thought I
don't
was
worry.
gonna like those in the beginning, like when they first revealed them. I was like, okay, those could be kind of good, and then I saw them like in action on screen, and I was like, nope, never mind.
Yeah, it was the lighting of the promo pic.
they're so close to being great, though. Like, maybe if they just like outlined the letters in white or something like that, just to get a little more contrast in there, and they'd be great.
Yeah, then put some white in the horn so you could actually see there was a horn. You know,
You're really hung up on these horns, dude.
it was just so. And I loved it because I made a comment in our chat, and immediately the announcers were like, "I'm sorry, I can't tell who's playing because I can't read their names." And I was like, all right, so it's not just me. Monday night was what? The Miami Dolphins beating up the Rams 23-15.
A little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise there. You know, the Rams, for all their faults, we thought would have been the better team. But hey, maybe Tua is healthier now, and we know with Tua, the Dolphins are a much better team. Brendan, did you watch this Monday night game?
I was not, but I was really hoping that the Rams were going to win, just for the history aspect of this. Would have been the first time that in Florida all teams have lost: football, college, FBS, whatever it was. All they were 0-11 going into Monday night. So I was kind of hoping the Rams were going to win just for the history aspect of it. But
did you hear that, Florida? That is what Brendan thinks of you.
We just see an alligator come up and just like, whoa.
Hey, we beat the Gators pretty handily.
That was a great game.
That was great.
Let's see. Oh, David, do you want to tell us what the college rankings are this week?
Yeah, sure. They just came out like a little bit ago. We'll just do the top 10. I guess we can do 25, but these are the official playoff, how it's looking and everything. Playoff rankings. Number 1, we got Oregon. 2, we're looking at Ohio State. Texas is number 3, moved up from number 5 with, as Brenda mentioned, the trouncing of Florida, which was barely even a game for them. 4, we got Penn State, who are rebounding from the one loss that they had last week, but they're doing all right coming out of it. Number 5, Indiana. 6, we got BYU. 7, Tennessee, which was kind of a drop for them. Notre Dame, number 8. Miami, all the way down to number 9 now after that loss, but they should have already had one. They are lucky to have stayed undefeated this long. I think there's several games they should have lost this season, so I'm glad they finally got one. Alabama at number 10, rounding out the top 10. Then we got Ole Miss 11.
Teams, right?
12. There's 12.
12. Okay.
Yeah. So we got Ole Miss at 11, and then Georgia number 12. So they'd barely be squeaking in right now, and that's because they just took another loss that shouldn't have taken. So Georgia dropped big time. Boise State's on the outside looking in at number 13. 14, we got SMU. Texas A&M at 15, Kansas State 16, Colorado 17, Washington State 18. We got Louisville at 19, Clemson at 20, South Carolina 21, LSU sitting at 22. And then the last 3, we got Missouri, Army, which is a big surprise, and then Tulane.
Hey, I mean, if Louisville can sneak in there, I would be happy. Will it happen? No, because even when Lamar was in there, they lost one game and they were like, you know what? Just drop them
I
out of the
mean,
top 25.
19's not the worst. Like, they at least don't have all their hopes crushed yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And at the
Yeah.
very least, I believe they are already bowl eligible this year. So that's a good year for them.
Yeah, we might play like Colorado in the bowl game, which would be kind of exciting. Scott, how are you feeling about the Hoosiers?
Oh, loving the Hoosiers. Loving the Hoosiers now. First time ever to win the first 10 games. We're 10-0. We handled Michigan without really too much trouble. They got ahead early, but unlike past Indiana teams, when Michigan got ahead, the Hoosiers did not wither and kind of let things go by. They kept it up, kept fighting, kept running the defense. Offense kept its play, although offense kind of lulled down a little bit right after halftime. But the defense really carried through for the Hoosiers. And we downed Michigan. So now after a bye week, we'll have Ohio State in 2 weeks. That'll be the battle of the year. That'll be
That's going to be a big game. I don't think anybody expected them to be as high as they are.
No. It's been an awesome year. Awesome year.
Yeah, a team, or I should say the college, known for its basketball history, is really showing out for football now. And they have such a good stadium in Bloomington. Having been there myself, it's a really nice stadium. So I'm glad to see some love there from the college rankings. David, Brendan, how you guys feeling about Texas?
I mean, this year has actually gone a lot better than I thought it was going to. I had faith in Texas, but a couple years ago we went to Arkansas to play the SEC and see how that went, and that did not go well. So I was kind of worried about.
But that was also with our backup quarterback in a year where neither one was great. Like, I feel much better about us going into Arkansas this year.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. But I was just saying, like, going against these SEC schools, I was a little worried that we were going to have more of a little bit of a letdown. We weren't going to be as competitive in these games as we are. And it just makes that.
What are you talking about? We're not Oklahoma.
Exactly. It just makes that Texas A&M game last week of the season even more important because right now we're tied with them and Tennessee for the top of the conference, so it'll be important to see what happens.
I'm not worried at all. We're going to crush them.
Yeah, this week I see
Georgia has 2 losses, so I'm not worried about Georgia.
I think, one of those losses, though, for us, the only loss we have is Georgia. But I think we play them again, and I think we take it. So if for some reason the championship was like us and Georgia, no question, I think we take that one.
I think it's personally, UT, Tennessee.
I could see that because I think we're going to smack A&M down hardcore. Aggies are a joke. They're almost as bad as Oklahoma.
Sitting at 7-2.
I'd be embarrassed to say that I went to A&M.
Right. So I was looking at the schedule for, ranked teams. South Carolina is hosting Missouri. That's 21-23. Let's see, Georgia, number 12, hosting Tennessee, 7. I think that's the only ones where 2 ranked teams are playing. Because then you got Alabama versus Mercer. So
what's crazy, though, is this season, and this has been throughout like all the different divisions and such, there's been a lot of losses of ranked teams to unranked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where a lot of these losses are coming from. It is like coming out of nowhere just to snipe people down, and it's great.
Yeah. Now, there's been some of those where it's like they lost to who? And then, of course, they don't drop very, very far in the rankings because the college people are like, yeah, but they make the money in the playoffs. Like, you got to keep them, All right.
What
let's
are
see.
you saying? It's slightly rigged? What, Keegan?
What?
What? Money doesn't speak. What are you
gonna
talking about?
You're gonna have an SEC sniper outside your house.
I mean, we might have a couple people outside my house. Remember, we're forming the anti-Avenger team.
That's right. You might have a world-renowned author coming after you.
Right. Kicking off Thursday night, Brandon, tell us your thoughts. You guys going to beat Washington, or is Washington going to come into Philadelphia, maybe throw snowballs back up at the crowd?
We'll beat Washington since it's in Philly, but it'll be a fun game. I think it's a true it'll be an enjoyable matchup, unlike this past Sunday. I'm excited. I'll have my popcorn ready. So,
All right, Scott, what about you? Who you think's taking home this divisional game?
Well, Philadelphia has been pretty tough at home, but would not surprise me at all to see the Commanders come in and sneak out a win. I don't think they would dominate in an upset, but would not surprise to have the Commanders sneak out, maybe get a last-second field goal to win it. Would not be a surprise for me. Commanders are the up-and-comers. They're doing well. And you always say if you're going to make it with the big boys, then you got to beat the big boys. And this could be one of those games where the Commanders take it to the Eagles. We'll see. I think if I'm picking the game, I'll probably would still pick Philadelphia, but it would not surprise me at all if Washington comes off with a win. Definitely will be looking good at this game. That's the way I think on that.
Well, and it helps that their coach has some experience with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, having played them twice a year in Dallas as well. David, who you taking, Philadelphia or Washington?
I think Washington takes it. Like they've got much more to play for. They've wanted this longer. I think the preseason game that the Eagles just played smacked them up enough that they're going to have some key guys hurt. I think it's going to be something like 35-21 Washington.
See, I'm going to pick Washington as well, only for the fact that their coach, like I said, knows how to stop Jalen. That defense is playing good. And it's not like the Steelers, right, which is a team you never play, but it's a divisional game. It's going to be one of the wonky ones, and I think it's going to be a split series. So give me Washington in this one. Oh, here comes one. I'll give it now. Green Bay is going to smoke Chicago because they still have Eberflus. Their offensive line's bad. I still have faith in Caleb and everybody, but yeah, you got to get rid of Eberflus, Scott.
Yeah. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say the Packers with this one. I think it will be interesting to see. As I said, the Cardinals' defense really got into Rodgers' head. So let's see if right from the beginning, the Bears start really kind of running the defense that the Cardinals are running against the Packers. If they do, will Rodgers keep his head in the game? But it would not surprise me at all that the Bears are that far ahead. The Bears won't think about running the Cardinals defense against the Packers this week. So it'll be the Packers for the game. That's for sure, I think.
Brendan, who you taking?
I'm going to say the Packers.
Right.
We'll see what the Bears' offense looks like this week. They might be a little bit better, but I don't think they'll be good enough off fresh Jordan Love and those Packers coming into town off that bye week. So
it's in Chicago. The fans are going to go onto the field and just kidnap Eberflus. He's going to disappear.
Kidnap. They're just going to straight up murk him right there on the field, dude.
Man, they were so mad. They were posting like, if they don't fire somebody, we are storming the stadium tonight. And then they were like, we'll figure it out. And then it took like 48 hours, and they're like, all right, we fired him. And they're like, all right, I bought you a little bit of time, but next Monday, you know. Yeah, I don't think Eberflus makes it through this 3-game stretch because it's all division. They have a chance against the Vikings, but that's about it. David?
I'm gonna go Bears just because nobody else did. We'll give them a fighting chance.
I want to go Bears, but
I think at home, and they might be just fired up enough after this last game to not want to be embarrassed. And I still am not fully behind Love. I don't think he's the quarterback that they think he is. So I think the Bears eke it out.
all right. Our next matchup is the Battle of the Cats. Real quick, does someone want to see if Trevor Lawrence is playing? Because it's Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones and the Jaguars.
It's probably going to be a game time decision.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's one of the two quarterbacks I just said, Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars traveling to Detroit.
Let's assume it's Trevor Lawrence and make our picks based off that.
Okay. So yeah, it's the Jaguars, the Lions. The Lions coming off an emotional win. It's a win they shouldn't have won, but good teams find a way to win. So, Scott, do you think they rebound?
No, I think it'll be the Lions. It'll be the Lions really without much problem, especially at home. They'll take care of it.
Brendan?
Yeah, I don't see Jacksonville. I'm counting down for the days for Doug Peterson getting fired. I was really hoping it was going to be, the week after the Eagles, and then, not being able to do anything against the Vikings and holding them to only field goals and still getting beat. Doug Peterson's the next fired coach on my list. So,
You realize that you guys have a statue of him outside your stadium, right?
that doesn't mean anything.
David, who you going with?
Give me the Jags.
Uh-oh, he's doing the underdogs.
They gotta. I think they can do it, and they need it. They need it worse.
Probably.
All right, so
But this is assuming Trevor Lawrence plays the whole game. If it's Mackey out there, they're out.
yeah, he did not look good. I'll take the
Like a
Lions.
year and a half. What do you
Yeah,
expect?
but and I guess it is the Vikings, which have a pretty good defense. But
Also, though, I gotta also say, I don't think Houston's that good this year, and the Lions barely pulled that out. Like, they had to pull out all their stops to get that win. I think I think they're overrated, and I never really liked the Lions. I don't know, not my team, not my city. I don't like Detroit. I'm gonna say Jags.
I don't know. I've seen the Bears pull out a win against a team they shouldn't have and then go on to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they also put back in Rex Grossman instead of sticking with Kyle Orton, so they lost that one. Just terrible coaching. Minnesota is traveling to Tennessee. Scott.
Vikings are too good for this game. Vikings really without much trouble. I think Jefferson will have a big game. It'll be Vikings. Let's put on.
Brendan.
I really hope this isn't a high offensive game, like final score of like 42-37 or something. For the amount of offensive players I have in this game, I do think the Vikings will be able to bounce back and win, though.
All right, David, you taking Tennessee?
No, I think Minnesota. They got to rebound and take this game. They were embarrassed this weekend.
Yeah, that game shouldn't have been that close against Jacksonville. What's his name? Darnold is not looked so hot the last couple weeks, so we'll see if it's just a little stint in the season. But they're still having a better season than I think Vikings fans thought they would have this year. So,
And if they want to keep their chances of playoffs and everything alive, they kind of need this game. So I think they go in there with more to play for than the Titans.
well, especially in their division, they're going to probably finish third, so they have to make a wild card spot.
So they need those wins.
Yeah, and I think they beat Tennessee. Tennessee, not a good coach there, not a lot of talent. If Tennessee wins, that's going to be big, you know? But
I mean, yeah, good for them. I'm not saying it's impossible. I like their
Yeah.
chances more than some of these other teams we've talked about. Like, I wouldn't be surprised either way that this game goes, to be honest. But gut tells me it's going to be Minnesota.
yeah, no, I agree there. Miami is hosting the Raiders. Scott, who are you taking?
Well, I don't know. Tua coming back, they definitely look a whole lot better than they were when Tua wasn't there. So Tua coming back, and they're at Miami. Raiders are still kind of wonder if what they're there. So definitely it'll be the Dolphins. Not too much of a problem there.
Yeah, some may say they're questioning their coaching hire. We'll find out by next year. Brennan, what are you feeling on this one?
Dolphins will win. I don't know about the Raiders, so which really sucks because I was one of the people that I thought it was a good coaching decision and I was high on them. It made me kind of like the Raiders, and I don't like the Raiders, so.
Well, and I think it hurts that their other option was Harbaugh, and he's doing really well in Los Angeles with the Chargers. So, and I do believe didn't Desmond Ritter get some snaps last week at quarterback? So, just you're 3 quarterbacks in. It's not looking good. David, what are you taking?
Yeah, hold on. Let me check the calendar here. Okay, so it looks like Tua is not due for another concussion for 3 weeks. So they got this one, taking advantage of that. They got 3 more games. I think Dolphins.
No, if you keep taking knees to the head like you did last night, he might
He might accelerate that schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think, especially after the last one where he hurt his, he injured himself by going headfirst into the player. Someone needs to get in there and be like, yo, slide. Just slide. If there's a player coming at you, slide. Like, it's a serious thing.
Get down.
Yeah, just get down. I'm going to take Miami. Tyreek's back, so the GOAT of wide receivers currently, not of all time, just current NFL.
Jamar Chase might be.
Hey, Jamar Chase is waiting in the wings. It's okay. I got him there. He's waiting behind Tyreek. Eventually, I'll let him be the GOAT. Here's one I don't know how to feel yet. It's Los Angeles Rams traveling to New England. Scott, who you taking?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with you on that one. Was really kind of wondering if the Patriots defense will step back up again. Now, granted, they were playing in the Bears, and this past weekend, that gives them an extra boost. It gives them a good downs and distance. But I think I'm going to go with the Patriots at home on this one. That's going to be my upset of the week.
All right, Brandon, what about you?
I don't know. I think it's a head scratcher. Because some weeks
Let's go flip a coin.
Yeah, I was gonna say some weeks these teams both look good, and some weeks they look like crap. So, let's go Patriots, I guess. Lesser
All
of two
right.
evils.
David, what about you?
It's going to be the Rams, but I can't fully explain to you how much I don't care. Like this game doesn't mean anything to anybody. But I do think the Rams are the better team and have more potential. I don't think it matters that they're at home. I think Rams take it.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams as well. I think they have the just more pieces to actually solidify a win. They did lose this week, but they lost to a much better talented team wise in the Dolphins, who I think have more talent overall than the Rams. Patriots nowhere close. Now, if that defense keeps playing the way they did, granted the Bears' offense line was bad before they all got hurt and they're on backups, but I just don't see the Patriots repeating that. So give me the Rams. Let's see. Brings us to this is another kind of. This is so bad it could be like one of those so bad it's good movies. It's the New Orleans Saints hosting the Cleveland Browns. Scott.
As I've said in the past, if I got two teams that are about the same, either they're both really, really good or they're both really, really sucky, I'll lean toward the home team. And so this game, it goes on to the sucky side of that question. I'm going to go with the Saints solely because they're going to be in New Orleans.
Yeah, the Superdome is always loud, even when they're bad. Brendan, who you taking?
I'm going to take the Browns. They just had a bye week, had a week with the new coordinator, the new head coach, able to hopefully try to make a game plan and stuff and get rested, get a little more practice with their quarterback. I think the Saints are still going to try to find what they are, and that second game with the new head coach is not always the same as that first. So I think the Browns will take it.
David?
I'm going Saints on this. I think they've got more talent. They've got more potential. And again, they're in the Superdome. They're at home. I think it'll be a close game, but I like New Orleans here.
All right, just to make it a 50-50 toss-up, give me Cleveland, which means anyone watching, you guys got to comment, help us break this. I don't know. It could really honestly go either way. I'll pick Cleveland just for the hell of it. But I don't know. This has the potential to turn people off of being football fans or just like be so bad that they're like scoring nonstop that people love it. So New York Jets hosting the Colts. Scott.
Just kind of thinking back on what I had talked about earlier with the Bears and Packers games, I had a little back to the future type mental break there. But what I said about how the Bears would potentially deal with Rodgers, I will say exactly the same thing here with the Colts. Will the Colts defense study up what the Cardinals defense did this past week and really Rodgers' head, or will they not? As I said, Cardinals' whole team is just this little rubber boat just floating around in the ocean, not going anywhere. Let's see what they do. If they don't do what I kind of think they should do, in this case, it'll be the Jets easy. I'm going to go with the Jets, painfully to say.
Ooh, I did not expect that coming from a Colts fan, Scott. But maybe we should heed the warning, Brendan. Are you going to listen to Scott, or are you taking the Colts?
I was actually going to take the Colts, but with a twist. I think Joe Flacco is going to play such a bad game. Anthony Richardson comes back in and leads them back to victory.
That's just because he knows I'm playing Flacco against him this week. Okay. All right.
Whoa.
That is exactly why I'm doing it. I mean, no. Why would I ever root like that?
Brendan, we've already gotten kicked out of that stadium once. They have your poster up. You can't even get into that stadium.
I forgot this was at MetLife.
Yeah.
So and I'm choosing the Colts because I don't like MetLife Stadium because they kicked me out that one time.
Dang, MetLife Stadium kick us out of WrestleMania.
Wearing Bullet Club stuff.
Yeah, all because we wore Bullet Club stuff. No WrestleMania for us. David, are you going to What are your thoughts?
I think
with what Brendan said?
there's going to be some history made that day because Joe Flacco is going to have the most amazing performance we've ever seen from any quarterback. He's going to post up. I'm calling it now 10 touchdowns.
I would be happy to lose if he does that one.
If he does 10 touchdowns, I'm never playing fantasy again. It's over.
Would it be the first time?
Hit the peak. I'm out.
Make Blake's winning happy. You beat Brendan.
Yeah, Blake would be. He keeps sending trades. # beat Brendan.
He hasn't sent me anything yet this week.
I was gonna say he hasn't sent me anything in a while.
Well, that's because he wants.
Why would he send it to you?
He has sent me crap before.
He just sends you like awful trades just to try to get you to do it.
Yeah.
It is a true story. We have talked about some of these awful trades live. Yeah, give me the Colts as well. I think the Jets are just a hot mess, and I don't think it's possible to have an intern for your intern head coach, but it could happen this year. I mean, the Jets are that bad. So Aaron Rodgers might become coach at some point. But yeah, the Colts are going to win this one. There's some good games. It's another divisional game. Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Baltimore Ravens, Scott.
You know what? I think this is going to be the second best game of this of the weekend, along with the Commanders and Eagles. Ravens and Steelers. That's going to be a really, really good game. Again, as I said, you got two really strong teams facing off with each other. In that sense, I am just going to lean toward the Steelers solely because they will be in Pittsburgh. Got the bright yellow towels will be flying there in the stadium. Going to go with the Steelers.
All right, Brendan, what about you?
I'm going to go with the purple and the black. I need to see a little more from the Steelers. I think Baltimore, though, they are running away with.
Yeah, for me as well, I'm taking Baltimore. It's going to be a hell of a game, though. Pittsburgh has overachieved a lot of people's expectations, but their defense is really, really good, and their offense is clicking. The Ravens' offense has clicked a lot better now. Defenses aren't just focused on Lamar because of Derrick Henry and what he can do. The receivers, like David's receiver, Zay Flowers, looking really good. But yeah, give me. I can't pick against Lamar. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. David?
So, just in a football sense, I think Ravens are a much better team. I actually like the Ravens. I'm taking them. But even if they were the worst team in the league this year, I would be taking them because the Steelers have personally offended me. I went to a Steelers game earlier this year when the Cowboys played them, and the Cowboys did win after a 2-hour rain delay, but the Cowboys won, so I was happy with that. But going there, I was like, oh, I'll get to see, the terrible towels. That's like a big football tradition. That's, it's cool to see it in person and everything. And I was like, you know what? They might even give me one. How cool would that be? And they did. They gave me a towel, and I was super excited to get it until I saw it. Do you know what they gave me?
No.
This iconic yellow towel. This is what they handed me when I walked in. What is this? What is this? This is not yellow.
No, but you went during Cancer Awareness Month.
I don't care. This
towel.
gave me cancer. Okay?
I used to have a terrible towel.
This is not what I wanted. I wanted the iconic yellow famous towel. Even though I don't like the Steelers, that was my chance. And instead, I got this. I don't. Yeah. So you know what? Ravens.
I don't even know where I got mine. I used to have a terrible towel. Keegan might. I mean, But I
I
don't know.
don't have a terrible towel.
No, I meant
Uh,
no where I got it.
Oh, where you got it? No, I also didn't know where.
They even had the gall to put the official little NFL seal, just so that I know this is an official NFL product. That's
You
great.
probably could have
Thanks.
went and bought a yellow terrible towel.
I'm not giving them money.
All right, so on to our next matchup. Atlanta is coming into Denver to play the Broncos. And any Atlanta fans, just don't wear your jerseys. They will beat you up in the stands. I've experienced this. The Denver fans.
You wore
They
your
always-
Atlanta jersey to a Denver game?
Yeah. Well, I didn't wear. I just
Preseason,
wore.
too.
Yeah, the Denver fans are never ranked really high as being like angry or violent. They should be higher. They used to be good, but it's the new Bronco fans. Scott, who you taking?
You know what? I'm going to go with the Broncos fans in this case. Atlanta's going to, I think, put up a good show. We'll see how that is, but I will lean more toward the Broncos again at home. So,
Brendan.
I agree. I'm leaning towards Denver.
Oh man, the Bronco fan speech just like swayed everybody. David.
Yeah, I really. Hold on. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So I just got news. Apparently, Bijan Robinson is also going to make 10 touchdowns in this game. That came direct from the source. I just heard it. So I'm going to have to go Atlanta. Wow. It's going to be a historic day, guys. I hope y'all are ready for some football.
Well, with your 20 touchdowns between your guys and that high offense between Tennessee and Minnesota, we'll have a great fantasy football week this week, won't we?
It's going to be insane, man.
It's going to be.
I was gonna go Denver, but then I got that call. So
it's going to be the first 200 versus 200 point fantasy. Both teams over 200, and
you know what? If this happens, I'm just gonna play a kicker for the rest of the season.
Just bench everyone. My dad would love that though. That was his thing during the draft.
That's what we should do during the playoffs. Everybody, we have to have like
play your kicker.
Only your kicker. Good luck.
Hey, the kicker was the thumbnail.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, the kicker was the thumbnail for this video because he put us out of the misery of watching the Houston Texans Detroit Lions game. He was my MVP. I'm going to go with Atlanta too. I think Denver's done really good. I hate to say because I'm not a huge Sean Payton fan. But, I mean, the defense is playing well. They don't have, like, the big names that they used to have, but they've really come together as a team. But Atlanta, I think, is one of the teams to beat in the NFC. The problem is they're not very consistent, but I think they'll get the job done this week. San Francisco, Seattle. I'll go Seattle. I'll try to will something into existence there. I don't think it'll happen, but give me Seattle. Scott.
You know what? I was kind of leaning towards Seattle in this case, especially since 49ers, people keep getting hurt. Ayuk went out a couple weeks ago. CMC is supposed to be coming back, but you're not really sure what he's going to be shortly after getting back on the field. So in that sense, and Seahawks coming off a bye, that's also a big help. So I'm going to go with Seattle pulling the upset this way.
All right, Brendan.
I'm saying San Francisco.
So that's it. Just nothing. David.
I'm going to go Seattle. I like their mascot a lot better.
I also, having been up to where they do the 12th man flag raising, it's pretty cool. Oh, Brendan was there. Remember that, Brendan? I forgot you were there.
You forgot I was.
No, you're in the picture. How could I forget?
Brendan was the 12th man.
There might have been 12 of us up there, actually.
They clipped Brendan to the flagpole and just.
It's a cool stadium though. They did well there. Ooh, here's another good one. Okay, so there's a better schedule this week than there was last week. But Buffalo is hosting Kansas City. Brendan, are you ready to hear about the Swifties and the Chiefs fans just like going berserk this week?
I always hear it all the time.
I'm surprised you haven't paid the KKM to swoop in and just like steal the football.
I've thought about it once or twice.
Come on, Kansas Kite Monster, what are you doing? So who are you taking, Brendan?
Buffalo. I think they'll be able to beat the unbeaten. I don't know though, because Buffalo's going to be without, it seems like, both or two of their receivers. So Coleman has already been ruled out, and Cooper is on the fence. So I want to say Buffalo, just because I feel like Buffalo's the better team, and they've had more consistent play than referee luck. But like I just said, referee luck. So Kansas City will probably win.
Scott, what about you?
When we were first thinking about this, I was thinking that the old Miami Dolphins, the undefeated Miami Dolphins, they always pop champagne every time the undefeated team loses. And I was thinking that those old time Dolphin players were going to have champagnes on ice. But at the same time, Brandon is right about the Buffalo receivers and the relationship between Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins seems to be melding in together, along with what he already has with Kelsey. So, in that sense, I am going to go ahead and go with the Chiefs to squeak this one out. Although, like I said, when we first started thinking about it, I was leaning Buffalo, but yeah, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to go KC.
David, what about you?
I just like both of them. I guess if I can't cheer for a tie, I'll have to go for. I'd rather Buffalo win just a little bit more because I'm sick of Kansas City, but at the same time, it's hard to bet against the script. So
We just know that you only hate the Buffalo because of Josh Allen's dating.
I mean, that's true. That's not wrong. That's very accurate. Question: who does Kansas City play next week?
I don't know.
Let me see.
It was an easy game. It's like the Jacksonville Jaguars or something.
Hold on, it's loading. Maybe I clicked on it. Oh, there we go. Now it wants to move.
Panthers, Carolina.
Oh yeah.
I knew it was one of those easy catches.
Okay, then you know what? Kansas City wins this week, and then the streak is broken by Sweet Carolina.
Well, me and Brennan got a close-up look at the Chiefs Stadium. I don't know if we were supposed to, but we got there. It was nice. They also were nice enough to put my initials in their logo, so I got to go for them. It has my initials and everything. So
you're going against your Wyoming quarterback?
It's my initials versus Wyoming quarterback. I know. Sorry, Josh. Luckily, we're not going up to Wyoming. Actually, Wyoming's coming down to Colorado State, Fort Collins this week. Oh, man. Hold on. Now I got to go back a week. All right. Sunday night, Los Angeles Chargers hosting Cincinnati Bengals. I think we're all just hoping not 25 turnovers this week like last Sunday night. Scott, what are you thinking?
And first I thought the Bengals were kind of coming back and kind of putting things together. Now I'm not so sure. So I'm going to stick with the Chargers on this one.
Brendan?
I think Cincy will be able to hopefully pull it off. I don't I guess I haven't watched enough Chargers game to really pay attention to them. But the Bengals are probably the best team for what their seed is. I think they should be better, but
David.
I mean, I've heard almost nothing about either of these teams this season. This is the most mediocre game you could throw on a Sunday night. Let's go Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cincy as well. I hope Chase has like 70 points this week. That's what I'm rooting for. You know, we're all rooting for the most historic fantasy football week of old time. So give me Chase to have like 70 points.
I mean, he's no Joe Flacco.
I know he won't have 10 touchdowns, but he'll have 70 points. Let's see. That brings us Monday Night Football on ESPN, ABC. Dallas is hosting Houston, the Battle of Texas. David, what is the over/under on like how many Texans fans are going to be there this week? You think?
It'll be a lot.
You think so?
It's only a 4-hour drive.
All right. So who you taking?
If they keep Cooper Rush as starting quarterback, it's going to be Houston. I think if Lance was out there, they'd have a chance because Houston's not looking that great, but they are right now a more complete team. So on top of that, Cowboys have yet to win a single game at home. So,
which you know, Jerry Jones is just like very upset about.
Hey, the game is at night, so you know the sun isn't going to blind a receiver in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean,
has that always been a thing, David?
Since this stadium's been here.
I did not know that.
Because they do have curtains for the windows.
You know what, though? No, I'm going to say because it's the most Cowboy thing ever to screw up even the chance of getting a great draft pick. So they're going to win this one. They're going to pull it out of nowhere and give us a win that means absolutely nothing, that nobody wants or needs. So, yeah, Cowboys will eke it out. Unlike Aubrey will probably have the most field goals he's ever had in a single game.
Hey, I was actually going to pick Dallas just because I think Houston is garbage.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I think Houston will go in there a little overconfident because of how bad Texas has been. I mean, Dallas has been, and I get it. But I think – and there's got to be so much bad energy right now around the Cowboys training facility, around the Star and all. I think they'll get it together just well enough to beat a garbage team and give us another win that'll do nothing but give us a worse draft pick ultimately.
Well, yeah, and I think with the Houston, the way they just like lost that game last week and being a bad team, I think it's going to hurt them, and it's going to be a letdown game. You know, we always talk about like rebound or just like letdown games. This is definitely a Houston letdown, and I think Dallas wins it. I really do.
But I think it'll be close.
Yeah, it'll be
it'll be closer than it should be.
What do we think the over/under on turnovers is going to be? Because last week with Houston, we saw a lot. 4. All right, I'll set mine at 5. Brendan, what about you? Interceptions first, and then who's winning?
Just total turnovers, and then who takes the game. Because I don't think there'll be interceptions. I think it'll be a couple fumbles.
Yeah, I could see 5. I want to say Houston because Dallas is in my division, but
it just feels like a Cowboy thing to do.
Well,
to shoot themselves in the foot with a meaningless win. It won't mean anything.
Thinking about what I was talking about earlier, and that offensive line for Houston sucks right now. And you guys just got the best pass rusher back. So
that is the only thing Dallas has really going for him besides kicker is defense is stepping up.
Yeah, I mean I'm going to say Houston just because of divisional rival, but if Micah Parsons takes over that game and gets them a win,
Like,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Honestly, I also wouldn't be shocked if the only touchdowns for Dallas in this game come from the defense. Yeah. That it's just like a pick six or two.
And a fumble
That's-
return for
Yep.
Parsons.
I could absolutely see all the touchdowns coming from defense and offense at best getting us into field goal range a couple times.
Well, I mean, with Aubrey, it's easy. I'm just going to get to the 40.
I mean, hell, at this point, you could probably just get to the 50.
Well, hey, that's our weekend slate. We've picked all the games. Let us know where
Did he say bye or did he just like peace out?
He said bye, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought he just
difficult.
I thought he just like dropped out. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Also, if you guys didn't watch our live stream, we are conducting a poll to see what you guys want us to do for our next Culz Talks Pop Culture. Currently, Sonic 3 is winning with 54% of the votes. Craven is sneaking back into it with 23%. Creature Commandos is at third place with 15%. And Lord of the Rings with a solid 8%. So make sure to go vote. Tell us what you want us to talk about. David, anything the viewers should be checking out on your channel?
Just same old, same old. Got a great new episode coming out later this week about some old school animatronics. That's pretty awesome. And gearing up soon for holiday stuff starting late November, early December.
Yeah, I can't believe the year's almost gone. It feels like it just got here. We say it every year. That's cliche. But yeah, go check out David's channel. Always
Abnormal Voyages. Yes, I didn't even say the name of it.
I mean, at this point, you're on here enough. I would hope people know you by now. If they don't, what are you guys doing? Why are you doing this to yourselves? Yeah, go check out David's channel. Brandon, what about you? Anything fun?
Um,
I heard you just launched an OnlyFans. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was actually for my animals. I finally decided that maybe they shouldn't be. I'm not saying that.
I mean, hey, if you want to go into the fact that it's you and your animals on OnlyFans, you're setting it up yourself there. I didn't say a word.
I was going to say something else, but we're still live, so I'm not going to.
Wait till after hours.
They need to start paying rent, so it's only pause, not OnlyFans.
Well, hey, and Brandon's got a photography page. Make sure you also go check that out. For anyone that hasn't checked out our Joey Antrim video, please go check that out. We'll be doing more Billy the Kid stuff by end of week. I'll probably be talking Joe at some point on another channel, so just stay tuned. It'll be live as well, so if you guys want to ask me questions, I'm always open to it. We also have an interview about old-time radio shows coming out on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that, and make sure more Culz sports chat on your left, more here at Culz Paranormal, which was our pop culture talk, on your right. Like and subscribe below, and make sure to go vote. Tell us in the comments what movie you want us to talk about.